I started a new print. It's called The Shepherd Sleeps. The shepherd's over here. He's in the house. He's sleeping. He's got a little fire going. Mountains. These have been done with atmospheric perspective, kind of hazy, going back into the distance. And look at this little guy. He's off on his own. The unattended sheep. There he is. He's like, get it? Shepherd's sleeping. So, this isn't the print. This is a drawing. This is done on newsprint. Newsprint is very thin. This is expendable. This is just a layout. I lay this thing on top of the copper plate, and you can see there I have marks for the corners. I tape it down, and I use a piece of transfer paper. Look at that, huh? So this drawing gets transferred onto a copper plate, and the plate has like a ground on it. It's like a wax. I scratch through the wax with a point, then I put it in the acid and etch the plate. I'm going to print this on watercolor paper, and then I'm going to finish the Shepherd Sleeps with watercolor paint. Is going to be beautiful. So this is what we're seeing. It's a state proof. I transferred the drawing, I etched it, but I'm missing a couple things. Like there's a line here that got missed, and there's like a line here on the sheep. You notice that everything that was on the right is now on the left, and everything that was on the left is now on the right. It gets reversed. Back at the print shop, I'm fixing to put my plate into the acid. Did a little work on the house where there was a line missing. I worked on the sheep a little bit. I etched the plate for 20 minutes last week, and I'm going to put it in for about another 20 minutes, so that's 40 minutes. And it's just a couple of lines I'm etching. I take the lid off the tank. I turn on the bubbler. I lower the plate into the etch solution. I secured a piece of tape with the clamp. I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. While my plate's in the acid, I'm going to set up the press. Pull the bed back. First the sizing catcher, then the heavy felt, and then the pusher felt. And I roll the bed until it's over the sizing catcher. Fold back the felts, lay down my paper template, lay down the acetate. And I'll fill the soaking tank for my paper. Not too hot, not too cold. In goes my archival printing paper. It'll take me a few weeks to finish his plate. When the print is done, I'll post it onto my Etsy site. If you'd like to check out my Etsy shop, click the link below. And the link will give you a 10% discount on any print in my shop. There she goes, ready to come out. Take a tray, put the tray right up against the tank. I don't want to get drips all over the place. Out comes the plate and rinse with water. The plate's wet with water. Paint thinner or mineral spirits will cut off the ground. With the soft cloth, I remove the ground. Clean the back. Remove the tape. Now alcohol. Alcohol degreases the plate. Fresh paper. Another rinse of alcohol. Then handle it by the edges, making sure not to get any fingerprints on it. This plate is clean. For at the rosin box, I spin the crank 20 times. Spinning the crank aerates the rosin. The plate goes into the rosin box on a sheet of newsprint. The door to the rosin box is closed. Again, I set a timer, this time for 10 minutes. My plate is out of the rosin box and it's going onto the fire grate. And now I heat it with the torch. I'm waiting for the rosin to go from a dusty white to a mellow red. This side here is starting to turn red. And it's melting over to that side. See the little bit of smoke coming off? And she's done. I'll let her cool for about 10 minutes. With the plate cooled, I start blocking out with asphaltum all the areas that I don't want to have a tone on them. So I'm going to start with my little sheep. His head, it's got like a little mustache, and a little bit on his back, and the front of his legs. These areas will remain light. Everything else will turn dark. This stuff is asphaltum. I don't know what it's made out of. Might be made out of tar or something like that. I think I'll leave the smoke kind of white coming out of the chimney. I'll leave the top of the roof light. So all these areas that I'm painting with this dark asphaltum, it's actually going to be the opposite. These areas will be light. Once I etch this, we'll print it. You can see it. I'm going to leave the path light. I'm painting the path with the asphaltum. Where is the shepherd? What's he doing? Is he sleeping? The sheep is out running around. He's like, woo! The shepherd sleeps. When the shepherd sleeps, the sheep it leaps. I'm going to do 3 separate etches on this. Far background, medium ground, and foreground. Trying to smooth it so it's all kind of even. The asphaltum dries fast, maybe 10 minutes. Then I'll stick it in. So the far away over the top of the mountains, that'll be light too. It's going to be really light, then a little bit lighter, and then darker as it goes forward. That's called atmospheric perspective. I'm just painting right up to the top of the mountain there. I think I'll etch this first etch about 2 minutes. It'll be like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. The aquatint is like a tone that the rosin creates. There's little dots, microscopic dots of rosin on this plate right now. And the acid will eat around those dots, and it creates a surface that holds ink. So now I'm just kind of feathering the asphaltum. Okay, that'll be the first etch. I'm redoing the tape on the back of the plate. I screwed that up. We'll get another piece of tape. Round 2. Taping the back of the plate. Make a little hanging strap so I can hang it in the acid bath. And in she goes for 2 minutes. And a clamp. Been about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit less. I rinse the plate with water, then dry the plate by blotting it with some paper. It'll dry pretty quickly with the help of a fan. I got my x-ray specs on now. Get the chimney, the wall by the front door, blocking that out. Really helps to use these glasses. The tape is still on here because it's going back in the acid about, I don't know, 3 more times. So I'm going to block out this first set of mountains. This will make them kind of fade into the distance, like there's a haze. Purple haze all through my brain. Wow, 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 wow. Lately things all seem the same. Wow, 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 wow. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Wow, 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 wow. I use a big brush for this big mountain area. Use that little brush, it'd take forever. Back into the acid for etch number 2 of the aquatint. This one will be 2 minutes. And out she comes. Then blot off the water with some newspaper. I'm careful not to get the ferrochloride on my shoes because that stuff stains. Back over at the fan to dry her off. I think maybe it'd be a good idea to proof this thing now. No more etches. If there's an area up here, it looks like some of the rosin has come off. I'm not sure. But that doesn't look right to me. So I'm going to strip the plate, ink it, print it, and we'll take a look-see at where we're at. A little paint thinner, a little dish soap. Got to take care of the brushes. Take care of your tools will take care of you. Now I can pull the tape off. I'm done etching it for today. We're going to proof this thing, see what we got. Mineral Spirits takes off the asphaltum. Clean the back of the plate. I like to coat the back of the plate with enamel paint because this stuff is heat proof so that when I put the torch on it, it doesn't burn off the stuff, and it's an acid resist. Now to take the rosin off, I need alcohol. And it's a little bit orangey, so the rosin's coming off. Yeah, just as I suspected, there's a foul mark here, so good that we stopped when we did. So we'll go proof this thing and see what we have. Okay, so I got a can of ink. We'll take the Flexi painter's knife and get a little dollop of ink out of the can. I used a scraper to pull the ink into the new aquatints. This spot over here didn't look quite right. Let's see how it looks. Hey, I got my tarlatan. You guys remember this guy? I started the edges. Now I'm going to do some swirlies. I'm not sure what a swirly is. Somebody will probably leave me a comment. And here comes our little sheep. Look at him. Bah, where's the shepherd? Ah, the shepherd sleeps. Well, she's about ready for proofing. I'm going to move this over to the press. So I'm not using a full-size sheet of paper on this one. One I'm using is just barely big enough. This isn't a presentation copy of this plate. This is just a state proof. I'm trying to see where the plate is. And it all looks kind of dark, but it's probably going to print lighter than it looks. I think I'll wash my hands before handling the paper. Alright, so we pull the sheet of paper out of the water, let it drip for a minute or two. Over onto the blotting towel, cover her up, roll out the pizza dough, and over to the press with the sheet of paper. Here we are at the press. I'll lay my sheet on, bring the felts down, and pull the plate through the press. Lift up the felts, and we see what we have. Onto the drying rack with the print. I think the sheet turned out fairly good. The path is good. The house is good. Here's the area I was concerned with. I don't know. That ain't right. But yeah, the mountains recede. So I'm happy for tonight. By next week, I should have the Shepherd Sleeps on watercolor paper. So if you like watercolors, hit the like button and subscribe. And we'll see you the next time on Vlog Moscow.